How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we come together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build that positive mindset. My name is Henry, and I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you here today because in this message, in this powerful episode that we're going to go through, we're going to make this shift. If you want to go from negative to positive, if you want to change your current circumstance, if you want to experience something different, this is the episode for you. But before we get started, we're going to take some deep breaths and we're going to do it a little bit differently. I really want to connect with you on this one. So we're going to do a breathing exercise. You can pick your frequency. It could be love, joy, happiness, abundance, calmness, peacefulness, whatever you need. And when you breathe in, just say that word over and over and over, and we are abundant beings. So imagine everyone else that's doing this at that exact same time saying your frequency. Hear the voices as you breathe in, just encouraging, empowering as you breathe in. So as you breathe in, you say it over and over. As you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. If you picked calmness, see you operating in the calm. If you picked power, see you moving powerfully in your experience. Once you exhale, allow anything that no longer resonates with you to leave you, and we're going to move forward into our positive energy. So go ahead and pick your frequency, and let's take a deep breath in. And out. We're going to do another deep breath. This one's for me. It's for me, but it's for us all. Meaning I want you to breathe in with me for this message. I really want to deliver it in a way to where it connects with you, so I feel like we have to be one with this one. So we're going to pick calmness, so that I can be calm, so that you can be calm, so that we can truly receive the message, so we can lower the anxiety, so we can lower the excitement even about the change and really be present. So we're going to say calm, calm, calm as we take that deep breath in, holding our breath, just however you view me right now, and however you view yourself, just see yourself embodying the calmness. And then once you exhale, allow anything that no longer resonates with us to leave so that we can move forward into this positive message. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. Nothing is just as simple as it is. You might feel a certain way, but think a certain way. How can that be? How can we think one thing and feel another? How can we be excited about something that we're thinking about, but feel dread? How can that happen? Well, one of the ways it happens when we're looking to make a shift, you see, everything is frequency. So if you're feeling something, your frequency has to be accounted for. In this path of growth, and you might wonder, like, when do I go to the next level? When do I think like you think? When do I perceive like you think? Like, when does it happen? When you feel resistance. When it becomes hard to operate in that understanding. You see, I did a message, and if you're listening to this one live, or if you're catching it later, on a Saturday night. It was yesterday, or 2 Saturdays ago, by the time you're listening to this. So it's the 7th, so it was the 5th. I made a message, or 6th, actually. And it's important, because I want you to be able to go back to when this message released. It was either released on the 6th or the 7th, depending on your time zone, because it was late at night. I did this episode, and I proclaimed what I'm going to be. I spoke directly into the universe with no room to go back. Basically burning the boats. There's no boat to go home. I am here. I have to go conquer now this thing. If you want to go listen to that message, definitely do. It's not an edited podcast. It's nothing. It's only going to be on Spotify. So if you're watching on YouTube, that's where it's at. But I proclaimed who I'm going to be, and now I have to be it. The same as you, when you listen to a message, when you hear, whether it's my podcast or you go to church or you do these things, you read something, you get this perspective, you have to proclaim that that's going to be what you're going to do. Reading it and thinking about it and loving it, that won't change anything. But when you commit to, I'm going to do this thing, that's when you're going to start to feel the resistance, because everything that can stop you will try. It doesn't want to stop you because it's evil. It doesn't want to stop you because it's bad. It's just you're going into a new frequency. And so the resistance is you learning to operate in that frequency. It feels different. It's you resisting you. That's it. And so I proclaim this message of who I'm going to become, how I'm going to show up, how I'm going to expand. And of course, the next message I go to record, the anxiety creeps in. I feel it in my body as I go to make this message. As soon as I stop, as soon as I walk away, it goes away. I'm calm. So that's how important this is for me to say, and hopefully important for you to take in. Think about Ali, Muhammad Ali, the boxer. We say the greatest of all time. He proclaimed himself the greatest. That's his saying, I am the greatest. Do you think that he said that after he became the greatest or before? You see, he was always the greatest in his eyes. It was after he accomplished all these things and said it over and over that he became the greatest in our eyes. Whatever you think of him, many people refer to him as the greatest. But he said it before he was in this plane. Because what you say and how you perceive it matters. And that's all that matters. You see, when you say, I am the greatest, you're putting that frequency out of you. The frequency is the frequency. And then you're observing it because you know what you say. You can look at it. I am the greatest. I can see it. You can see it. You hear it. You perceive it. But then the action behind it, you see, he used that as a filter in every operation he did. If he was training like the greatest. If he was speaking like the greatest. If he was eating like the greatest to be in alignment. And of course, he's a human being, so he didn't do it perfectly. There was ups and downs, just like all of us. But he used that saying, I am the greatest, as the filter which he perceived the world in. He perceived his effort as the greatest. Because everything he looked at, he did it at the greatest capacity that he could. That whatever he knew of that the greatest person could do, that's how he did it. It wasn't because he was born the greatest of all time. Maybe he had that spark, maybe he had that in his mind, and that was the gift that he knew he could say that and become it. But anybody can do this process. I could say that I am the best mindset coach of all time. If I say it once, it's not going to happen. I could say I'm the greatest of all time. If I say it once, it's not going to happen. I could say I'm the most powerful of all time, but if I say it once, it won't happen. You could say anything one time, it's not going to happen. But when you constantly say it always and it becomes the filter in which you interact with this experience, it will happen. You are so powerful, you are so strong, and you just have to learn to control your perception. When you say that and you see the world through that, you are making your perception of that of the greatest. Your perception is your reception. As you perceive the world, you will receive the world. And you see what Ali did is he set that intention, he set that word, he set that frequency, perceived it, and started receiving it that way. But he kept saying it until you started thinking it in your mind. When you start thinking in your mind, then your perception aligns with that. And so the world starts seeing it because he spoke as the greatest. He boxed as the greatest. He showed up as the greatest. And not only created that his experience, but he created for all of us. You can do the same. That's how powerful you are. Now, you don't have to be the best boxer of time. That may not be your purpose. What you do is not important. It's who you are that matters. If you're going to be someone that just influences your community, just works within the people that you love, the people around you, and you uplift others, that's just as powerful as being Muhammad Ali, and depending on who you were while you did it. That's the secret. That's the superpower, is you have a perception in this experience, and you can control it. When you control it, you control your experience. As you perceive, you receive. That's the next level. That's it. If you show up every minute of every day, over and over in a certain perception, that'll be your experience. This is why it's so difficult to deal with depression. Depression affects your self-talk. When your self-talk is lowered, that becomes the filter in which you're experiencing the world. And you might be great at acting different, but if that's still your filter, that's how you're going to feel. That's why it's so hard to deal with mental illness. When your mind is hurting, when it's telling you these low frequency things, that becomes the experience that you have. And I'm not discounting any medication, any treatment, nothing. But you have to recognize, if you show me your thoughts, if I know how you think about self, I know your experience. That's how my coaching works. I start to understand someone's self-talk, and then we shift it. We shift it into the self-talk of the frequency that they desire to live in. That's what this podcast does for you, and you can do for yourself. You'll feel the resistance. Now it's breaking free now. The anxiety's gone. The nerves are gone because I showed up. I showed up with the message, and I'm going to continue. If you keep doing it, you'll keep continuing. You'll keep expanding, and the fulfillment will always be in the journey. It removes the I'll be happy when. When doesn't exist. That's why you can't be happy when. You can't be happy when this works out, when this helps, when this does that. Because when is not ever a thing. It is never when. It is always now. So if you take your energy into learning how to have the right perception of now, that right perspective of now, then you're going to receive as you wish to receive in now, which your frequency, your energy, your soul only exists in now. That's the secret. That's the power. That's the shift. That's what you need to do. If you are hurting, change your mindset. Change the words that you're constantly processing over and over. It's not going to feel good at first. It's going to feel worse. Because you already are operating a low frequency. You're already hurting. You're already going through the pain. You're already living a life that you don't desire. And then you have to make your brain think differently, which is the filter in which you experience the world, which that takes work. It's going to make it worse at first because you're going to be pushing energy into something. You're going to be pushing effort into something when you have none. But the thing is, even that's deception. You are an infinite being. You have it all. It's just your perception is that you don't. So that's why you feel like you don't. But if you can recognize the fact, oh, I have it, even though I think I don't, you can push forward and find it. And once you find it, you see it within you and you realize it was there the whole time and you expand into your higher self. All of this is possible. People do it all day. Athletes are the easiest example. Actors, musicians, those are great examples as well because we see them. They can speak. We can hear how they think. The mind of a champion believed they were a champion before they became one. The mind of a peaceful person was peaceful before they had to prove that they were peaceful because it was already there. The mind of a warrior was already a warrior before they got their first fight. Build that perspective. Take control of that and everything else falls into play. You'll realize what you really are. You're an energetic being having an experience, and you have this experience through this body that has a mind that creates a filter. You adjust the filter by the words that go through your head. That's it. They're not real. The words are not real. That's just how we perceive them. They represent the frequency that you're operating on. Your frequency is what you frequently see. Your perception is your reception. The world is not as it is as you are. All of these sayings say the exact same thing. It's always inward we shift, not external. Have fulfillment within. Don't look for it externally. I've met plenty of you that have it all on the outside and nothing on the inside. And then I've met people that are positive, that they have the right mindset, but they don't have the external stuff. Choose you first, then go get the things. Choose your being first, then go have the experience. Control your filter. Control your perspective. Take your power back. Then this whole world, this whole experience becomes amazing, becomes impactful, becomes inspiring, because once you learn this about yourself, you'll realize your soul mission is to give that ability to everyone else. You don't need to give them the million. You help them become the person that perceives the million. You don't give them the peace. You become the person that shows them how to become the person that perceives the peace. And the world changes. Don't change the creation, change the creator. Let's rise up and become the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was impactful and gave you a different perspective on whatever it is that you're going through. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link down below. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram and TikTok down below. I appreciate all the follows there. I have one spot left. I've been keeping it open. I really appreciate those of you that have reached out that we've talked through in this mindset coaching program that I'm doing. This is for entrepreneurs. So this is exclusively for an entrepreneur that wants to do exactly what we just talked about in this episode. That wants to make that mental shift, that wants to learn how to shift their frequency and put their mind operating as they want to operate in. Whatever goal you have for your business, whatever goal you have for yourself, we will align it with that. It's a lot of fun. It's great and powerful work. So if you want more information on that, you can reach out to me. Instagram is a great way, or my email down below. I appreciate everyone that has does. And if you aren't interested in that, but you still want to reach out, definitely do. I love the conversations. I love seeing you as a real person, especially on Instagram. It helps me know that there's people out here benefiting from this, and I'm happy to answer your questions as best I can. I try to keep up with everybody, and it always makes me feel so good when you reach out. Well, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.